You weren't supposed to exist like this. That's the first thought that crosses their collective mind as the observation array locks onto your planet. Not fear, not curiosity, disbelief. Across the Orion Arm, civilizations rise and fall in predictable patterns. Life emerges, life adapts, life optimizes. Then, inevitably, life stabilizes into efficiency, safety, and control. But Earth doesn't fit. Before we go any further, if stories like this pull you in, if you enjoy watching humanity through alien eyes, stay with this journey. You'll want to hear how this ends. Because what they see on Earth unsettles them in a way no warfleet ever has. The Council of First Contact had been monitoring thousands of candidate worlds. Most were dismissed within seconds, too hostile, too primitive, too predictable. Earth survived the first filter only because it was loud, chaotically loud. Radio bursts, nuclear signatures, atmospheric scars, artificial satellites screaming into the void like flares, fired by a species that didn't understand how dark the forest really was. That alone was unusual. Most species went quiet the moment they discovered faster-than-light physics. Silence was survival. Broadcasting your presence was reckless. Humanity had done it accidentally, then continued doing it anyway. The probe slipped into your system unnoticed, folding out of space-time near the edge of the Kuiper Belt. It began its work silently, dispassionately, as all probes did. Scan the star, stable. Yellow dwarf, ordinary. Scan the planets. Mercury, dead. Venus, catastrophic failure. Mars, echo of lost potential. Then Earth. The oceans came first. Liquid water, covering most of the surface rare, but not unheard of. The atmosphere followed, rich with oxygen at concentrations that should have ignited the surface long ago. That alone made several observers lean closer to their displays. Oxygen-heavy atmospheres were dangerous, reactive, hard to maintain, and yet Earth thrived in it. The probe descended further, sampling electromagnetic noise, music, speech, data, arguments, prayers, advertisements, threats. The analysts paused. You're seeing this too, right? One of them asked, disbelief seeping into their tone. Yes, another replied. They argue. Constantly. Civilizations past their adolescence usually didn't. Debate implied instability. Disagreement implied fragmentation. Fragmentation implied weakness. And yet humanity was advancing. Then came the bioscan. Predators. Everywhere. On most worlds, intelligence arose in prey species cautious, cooperative, risk-averse. Predators tended toward solitude and extinction. Once technology advanced, humans were different. Humans were persistence hunters. Creatures that evolved by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Creatures that thrived on endurance, pain tolerance, and refusal to stop. The medical files caused a stir. You're telling me they operate while conscious? Yes. They survived catastrophic injuries. Yes. They poison themselves recreationally. Yes. Alcohol, capsaicin, caffeine. Humanity willingly consumed substances that would be classified as chemical weapons on 3 council worlds. But that wasn't what truly disturbed them. It was the conflict data. Humanity was not unified. Humanity fought itself. Repeatedly. On industrial scales. Wars that scorched continents. Weapons that split atoms. Cities erased in seconds. Any other species would have destroyed itself. Humanity didn't. Instead, it adapted. The probe watched archival footage of Earth's 20th and 21st centuries. Black and white soldiers charging machine gun fire. civilians rebuilding cities after annihilation, scientists working under mushroom clouds, doctors operating in rubble, parents shielding children with their own bodies. Loss did not end them. Fear did not silence them. If anything, adversity accelerated them. Statistical models predict self-annihilation at least 12 times, an analyst said quietly. Adjust the models, came the response. The probe adjusted. Humanity still survived. Then it observed something no algorithm could quantify. A rescue worker running back into a burning building. A soldier dragging an enemy combatant to safety. A doctor refusing to leave patients behind during a planetary pandemic. Billions mourning strangers they had never met. Empathy, not optimized, not efficient, not logical, but relentless. The council chamber fell silent as the realization settled. Humanity wasn't strong because it was unified. Humanity was strong because it wasn't and survived anyway. When the probe detected early prototypes of FTL mathematics buried in human research databases, alarms quietly triggered. They're close, someone whispered. And they don't even know it yet. The council faced a decision every civilization eventually did. Contact or concealment. Observe or intervene. A senior counselor spoke, voice heavy with unease. If we reveal ourselves, how will they respond? No one answered immediately. Finally, one analyst replayed a particular clip. Human civilians standing in defiance as tanks rolled in, not armed, not victorious, just present. They will panic, the analyst said. They will argue. They will fight each other about it. And then, the analyst continued, they will adapt. The vote was delayed. Instead, the probe was ordered closer, into orbit, into atmosphere, to witness humanity firsthand. That's when Earth noticed something was wrong. Astronomers detected anomalies. Military radar picked up impossible trajectories. Amateur stargazers filmed lights that didn't behave like anything human-made. The internet exploded. Governments denied everything. Conspiracy theories multiplied. Fear spread. And yet, so did excitement. Humanity didn't hide. Humanity looked up. When the probe finally decloaked just for a fraction of a second, it wasn't over a military base. It was over an ocean. Satellites caught it. Civilians saw it. Millions watched the footage replayed endlessly. The council expected chaos. What they got instead was something far worse. Humanity leaned forward. Across cultures, languages, and borders, the reaction was the same. Not surrender. Not worship. Curiosity. Hope. Determination. They're not afraid enough, someone whispered. The senior counselor stared at the feeds in silence. No, they said slowly. They're brave enough. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, the observers weren't sure if first contact was safe for them. Hey, everyone, still here? Still awake? If you are, that's fine, because this is the part where they stop observing and start worrying. The probe's brief decloaking had never been meant to be seen. It was a calibration error, an infinitesimal misalignment between prediction and reality. But humanity noticed anyway. Within hours, Earth's information networks were saturated. Videos slowed down frame by frame. Spectral analysis was run by teenagers in bedrooms and retired physicists in basements. Governments tried to contain the narrative. They failed. The council watched in disbelief as humans crowdsourced first contact theory in real time. They shouldn't be able to do this, one observer muttered. They don't have the technology. No, another replied, voice tight. They have numbers, millions of minds, billions of perspectives. Humanity didn't wait for permission to think. They argued, yes, but every argument spawned 10 new ideas. The probe descended further, sampling reactions. Panic existed, but it didn't dominate. Markets dipped, then stabilized. Religions fractured, then adapted. Militaries mobilized, but didn't fire. Humanity was bracing itself, not curling inward, outward. A council convened an emergency session. Risk assessment? The chair asked. A pause. Unclear, the analysts admitted. They don't respond like modeled species. Specify. They treat the unknown as a challenge, not a threat. That was dangerous. Most civilizations feared what they couldn't understand. Humanity chased it. Against protocol, the Council authorized a controlled signal nonverbal mathematical universal, a greeting that had worked on dozens of worlds. The probe transmitted prime numbers, hydrogen frequency, galactic constants. Silence followed for exactly 8 minutes. Then Earth answered, not with fear, not with submission, but with improvement. Human scientists didn't just decode the message, they expanded on it, added context, embedded cultural markers, artifacts of music, mathematics, and recorded history compressed into elegant data packets. They're replying? Someone whispered. Yes, came the stunned response. And they're showing us who they are. The council had expected a hesitant greeting. What they received was a handshake and a resume. The data included human failures, wars, genocides, environmental damage, near-extinction events. They're admitting weakness, an observer noted. They're admitting history, another corrected. That's not the same thing. Then came the unexpected layer. Human stories, not myths of gods or emperors, but of ordinary individuals. A firefighter climbing stairs as others fled. A scientist refusing evacuation to finish a cure. A pilot steering a damaged aircraft away from the city, knowing they wouldn't survive. The council struggled to categorize it. These actions are inefficient, an analyst said. Yes, the chair replied slowly. And yet they define the species. As the exchange continued, Earth's response grew bolder. Telescopes realigned. Deep space listening arrays were repurposed. Humanity wasn't just answering. They were looking back. The realization rippled through the chamber. They're trying to find us. The probe detected a new human project almost immediately, an international collaboration spanning rival nations. Budgets reallocated overnight. Decades-old hostilities shelved without treaties or speeches. A single unifying goal replaced them all. We are not alone. Humanity had found something bigger than its divisions, and it terrified the council. Chair, a security delegate said carefully, if they achieve FDL, they won't stop, the chair finished. No, the delegate agreed. They won't. A dissenting voice spoke up. Why is that a problem? The room stilled. The speaker continued. They haven't shown hostility. Only curiosity. Curiosity built their nuclear weapons. Another snapped. Curiosity burned their skies. Curiosity nearly wiped them out multiple times. And yet, the dissenting voice replied, they survived all of it. The council reviewed projections again. Humanity's resilience curve was abnormal. Each disaster didn't weaken them, it hardened them. Loss produced innovation. Fear produced preparation. They didn't evolve away from danger. They evolved through it. The probe descended into Earth's atmosphere under heavy disguise. It observed cities glowing against the night. Humans moving even while exhausted, creating, rebuilding, arguing, living. It followed a rescue mission responding to an earthquake. watched humans dig with bare hands when machines failed, watched them sing to trapped strangers to keep them conscious. Pain did not stop them. It motivated them. Then the probe intercepted military communications. Human forces had detected anomalies again. Not the probe, but the idea of it. Earth was preparing defenses against a threat that might not exist. Yet, they're planning for worst-case scenarios, an analyst said. That's standard, another replied. No, a first corrected. They're planning to lose, and continue anyway. In one briefing, a human commander spoke words that froze the chamber. If they're hostile, he said, we won't win, but we'll make sure they remember us. Silence followed. The council finally understood. Humanity did not measure success by survival alone. They measured it by impact, by meaning, by legacy. The probe returned to orbit as the council debated frantically. Contact had accelerated humanity's development beyond projections. Every second of exposure made them stronger. Containment was impossible. Withdrawal was pointless. The chair stood. There are species that must be guided, they said. Species that must be protected from themselves. A pause. And then there are species that cannot be stopped, only met. The vote was cast. First contact would proceed, but not from a position of authority, from caution, from respect. Because for the first time in galactic history, the council feared what would happen if humanity ever decided it was alone again. Hey, everyone, still here? Still awake? If you are, that's fine, because this is the moment they stop asking what humans are and start asking what humans might become. The first contact vessel did not arrive in secrecy. That alone unsettled half the council. It entered Earth's orbit openly, impossibly large, its geometry bending light in ways human cameras struggled to interpret. It did not hover above capitals or military installations. It positioned itself where all could see it high enough to be undeniable, distant enough to avoid panic. Humanity watched. Every screen on the planet carried the same image. Cities fell silent. Aircraft were grounded. Wars paused without treaties or announcements. For one fragile moment, the entire species looked in the same direction. Up, the council expected chaos. Instead, they witnessed restraint. No missiles launched, no preemptive strikes. Human militaries tracked the vessel, fingers hovering over triggers, but no one fired. Scientists spoke faster than politicians. Emergency channels filled with voices urging calm, urging patience, urging humanity to be better than its fear. The vessel transmitted. Not orders, not demands. An invitation, coordinates, time, a request for representatives, not rulers, not conquerors, observers. The council chose their envoys carefully. Not warriors, not admirals, scholars, diplomats, one historian who specialized in extinct civilizations. That last choice raised eyebrows. We're meeting them, someone asked quietly, or studying them? Yes, the historian replied. The meeting point was neutral high orbit, far from Earth's gravity well. Humanity sent a single craft, modular, hastily adapted, carrying representatives from multiple nations. They did not bring weapons. They brought data. The airlock cycle took longer than expected. Human engineers double-checked every seal, every pressure reading. They were nervous but focused. When the doors finally opened, silence filled the chamber. The aliens were not monstrous. They were fragile. Tall, slender, luminous skin, threaded with bioluminescent veins. Limbs that suggested fine motor control, not brute strength. Eyes adapted for spectra humans couldn't see. One human whispered, barely audible, They don't look like fighters. The historian replied just as softly, "Neither did we once." Translation matrices spun up. A shared language emerged, clumsy, imperfect, but functional. The alien envoy spoke first. "We are the Continuum Council," they said. "We have observed your species for a brief time." A human diplomat nodded. "That tracks. We observe each other constantly, too." A pause. Humor. The council envoy adjusted. "We come with caution," they continued. "Your world is anomalous." Another human smiled faintly. "We get that a lot." Data exchanged. Cultural frameworks aligned. Histories summarized in brutal efficiency. Then the council asked the question they had been dreading. "Why do you fight yourselves so often?" The room stilled. The human historian answered. "Because we disagree about what matters," she said. "And because we're bad at letting go of fear." "And yet you cooperate," the envoy pressed. "You unify under threat." "Yes," she replied, "and sometimes under hope." The council processed this. "Your species should not have survived," the envoy said, not unkindly. "By our models, you were supposed to fail." The human engineer leaned forward. "We know," he said. "We failed a lot, a beat. But failing isn't the same as stopping." The council envoy tilted its head, studying them. "Do you understand?" it asked. "How dangerous you appear to us." The human diplomat didn't hesitate. "Yes, and we understand why," she said. "We're dangerous to ourselves, too," the historian added quietly. "But we're working on it." That was the moment. The moment the council realized their mistake. Humanity wasn't ignorant of its flaws. It was aware of them. Worse, humanity was trying to improve. The council shared classified projections. Futures where humanity expanded beyond Earth. Colonized harsh worlds no other species would touch. Adapted, endured, persisted. In several models, humanity became a stabilizing force. In others, a disruptive one. The envoy spoke carefully. "If we share our technology," it said, "you will advance rapidly." "Yes," the engineer agreed. "And you will not be able to unlearn it." "No," the diplomat said. "We won't." A pause stretched. "Why?" the envoy asked at last. "Should we risk that?" The answer came from an unexpected voice. A human medic brought as an observer, not a speaker. "Because," she said, "we already risk everything every day." They turned to her. "We live on a planet that tries to kill us," she continued. "Earthquakes, storms, diseases, each other. And still, when something goes wrong, we run toward the danger." She met the envoy's gaze. "Not because we're fearless, but because someone has to." The council envoy felt something unfamiliar. Respect. Back on Earth, humanity watched the meeting unfold in fragments, data leaks, partial translations, educated guesses. Fear flared. So did pride. When news broke that the aliens were not gods, not conquerors, but cautious observers, humanity relaxed. Just a little. The council convened one last time. The historian spoke. "We've seen this before," she said. "Species that feared change. Species that tried to freeze the galaxy in a stable state." "And?" the chair asked. "They're all gone." A vote was called. Not for domination, not for control, for partnership. The decision was transmitted. The envoy returned to the chamber. "We will share," it said, "limited knowledge, not weapons, not supremacy." The human diplomat nodded. "Fair. But understand this," the envoy added. "Once you step into the wider galaxy, you cannot go back." The historian smiled sad, knowing. "We've never been good at going back." The first exchange began. clean energy frameworks, medical insights, navigation principles. Humanity absorbed it like dry ground absorbs rain. And then, inevitably, humanity asked a question. What's out there? The council envoy hesitated. Things older than us, it said. Stronger than you. Forces that do not negotiate. The human engineer's eyes lit up. Good, he said. The envoy stiffened. You misunderstand. No, the engineer replied. We understand perfectly. The diplomat finished the thought. If the universe is dangerous, she said, then it's better it meets us prepared. Silence followed. The council finally saw it clearly. Humanity did not seek to conquer the stars. Humanity sought to meet them head-on. When the meeting ended, the vessel departed without ceremony. Earth did not cheer. It breathed. Humanity went back to work. Building, planning, arguing, dreaming. And across the galaxy, ancient species updated their threat assessments. A new variable had entered the equation. One that did not optimize for safety. One that did not stop when afraid. One that had looked into the vast, uncaring dark and smiled. Because humanity had finally learned the truth. They were not alone. And the universe was about to learn that survival is not humanity's greatest trait. Adaptation is. Endurance is. But above all, refusal is.